All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in again to episode 4 this time. If y'all haven't checked out the other ones, make sure y'all check out episodes 1 through 3. They are up now. Let's get into it. Oh, before we do, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. Man, I need those. If y'all like what y'all seeing, I got to keep it up. Got to get a certain amount of views so I can keep these videos coming for y'all, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This one, I'm going to be bending the block and coming back and talking about some people who did me dirty on this one. So make sure y'all stay tuned. This episode, we're going to go ahead and continue with your boy, Corey Sinclair.
It didn't matter about timelines. It didn't matter about time frames. It didn't matter about customers being happy.
The thing's covered in eyeballs, dude.
The guy has talent. But at the end of the day, I can't tell my customers because Corey decided he wanted to go out tonight. He's not painting. Think my customer's going to get too about that?
Right about now, Corey has my trunk. Kind of to fast forward ahead, he's not picking up the phone. He's not answering. He keeps saying that he's going to do something. Pretty much how Corey works, y'all. For those of you who haven't worked with him, and everything I'm about to say is stuff that I've said to his face. We'll get into that. Corey, he kind of like hustles you. I guess that's pretty much the best way to say it. So what he does, for those of you who has never priced these or want to know what the price is, not everybody's the same price, but for Corey, and at least for my piece, I don't know if this is the same price for everybody else, costs roughly $100, right? He asks you to pay a deposit up front. You pay the deposit. Next thing you know, you're going to get a phone call or a text or a DM. Hey, I'm in trouble, man, bro. If you can pay me $500, I'll take $500 off of your price, right? So you're like, cool, you know what I mean? Anything to help out, right? So you send it. A week later, something new. So I kept getting these, right? Started off with like $1,000 deposit. Said it was going to take off $5. Helps him out with another situation. Said he'll take off $2. You know what I mean? He says he'll get it knocked out next week if I send this. And before you know it, it's paid off. So I'm talking to him. I'm chopping it up. I'm remaining cool. I'm not saying, hey, man, I heard, some things, hey, tell me about this. I'm just acting oblivious to it like none of this has ever happened. Got to the point where he just pretty much was not responding. It was paid off. I'm sending him messages like, hey, bro, you're paid off. You said you're going to do it. What's up? Around this time, a couple more bill errors are starting to come out. Now I'm seeing him comment on stuff while I'm sending him messages. Matter of fact, this is around the time John Witherspoon had just passed. For those of you who don't know, here's a clip.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
Another background piece of me that a lot of people might not know is I used to work in collections. So if you didn't make your car payment, I was that guy that called you up and was like, hey, where that payment at, right? And if you avoided me, I find the people all around you to get to you. So I think that's what ended up happening with me and Corey is I studied the people around him to get to him. And it was basically like SEMA was getting ready to come up. And I know that he was working hardcore on a car. And I knew that car was being built for SEMA. So I personally went up there. And this is where it gets funny because what was I going to do? Let's just keep it real. What was I going to do, y'all? But I went up there and I'm hot, right? Because you don't play with people's money. I see the car. I see the owner. He's cleaning it off. He's all happy. He got his fresh airbrushings all over the car. And I'm like, hey, man, cool car, man. Hey, who did those airbrushings? And he told me, he was like, man, Corey did those. Out of nowhere, he fell into my trap and literally told me what I was looking for. He was like, he's on his way up here. He'll be up here in an hour. I'm like, cool. So now I'm standing over in the corner, right, looking like Shaq. I just left. So around this time, I'm dealing with Corey, and I'm like, hey, my son wants a mural done on his trunk. As soon as I get mine, I'll toss you his, and we'll keep it going. Boom, they got Corey to top, right? Hey, I want to work on yours right now. He starts working on it. I'm like, cool, everything is sweet, right? I'm seeing videos and sneak pictures on Instagram, and then it just goes cold turkey.
Shutting the studio down.
So I'm telling my painter, hey, let's order another trunk. Cause I'm thinking I'm about to take it I'm gonna just take an L. Like it's gonna suck, but I'm not gonna get it back from this guy. So I'm telling my builder, hey, let's order up another trunk, man. Let's just start getting that ready and we'll just move forward. Around the same time frame. So my car is actually kind of in limbo right now because my builder has started to work on one of his Club Brothers cars to get it ready for like It was some show. I think it was lowrider or something in Vegas. So he's trying to get his people's car ready. He's like, hey, we're gonna kind of put your car on the back burner for now. And I'm like, cool, right? So obviously when nothing's being done on your car, or even when your car is in the shop, your mind is racing. You're like, man, okay, should I change this? Should I do that, right? So originally, I was just gonna have my undercarriage just black. I call it the South Side look, right? It's just like the flat black with like chrome bolts, chrome sway bar, linkage or whatever. You know, a clean look, but not over the top. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, with this motor, with this right-hand drive, with everything I got going on, I don't want to do that no more. I want to go ahead and just go all out, full chrome suspension. I'm also telling my builder, hey, you know, now that I've been down, I had more time to think. Remember, I had like the South Side style wheels on the frame. I'm thinking to myself, I don't want that look either. I want to go with the molded look to where it's just clean, you know, clean edges, sharp edges. You don't see no wheels. Everything is smooth. Because now we're getting ready for paint and body work. My body is off of the frame now. It's on a rotisserie. They're working on it. Now we're starting the sitting process, y'all. So, you know, nothing's pretty much going on. At first, I knew that it was going to be because of, you know, them wanting to work on his friend's car. And then my car ended up sitting because of, I don't know, various reasons or whatnot. I'm checking up on him. I'm sending a text. My builder sends me a message back and he's like, hey, I decided to go another route for you. He was like, what we're going to do is we're going to scrap this old frame, start over with another frame, but not another original 57 frame. He's like, bro, we're going to do Art Morrison style frame, right? I'm like, okay, you know, I don't really know too much about that, but he's like, hey, you know, it's basically already reinforced. You know, all of your tubing and everything is already thicker. He said, this will actually help to give you back he was like, this would actually be able to do the 4-link, the C-notch, and everything that I was saying that I wanted to do. Like, at the time, he was like, you know, think about it. Nobody else really has an Art Morrison frame for their lowrider. I'm like, okay, that'll give me another notch to go a little higher, right? That's where things start to get a little spooky. I don't know if I paid for the new frame or if he paid for the frame because he texted it came out of his pocket. And then my old frame I have never seen again since the beginning. So I don't know if that's still my frame. According to him at one point, he had said that it was swapped for the new frame. I don't know. That's the part that's kind of still in limbo to where at one point we are going to kind of fall out and it's still kind of in the air. But Corey's MIA. I can't find him. He won't message me back on Instagram. He won't text me back. He won't pick up my phone calls. He's uploading new stuff. So what he decided to do is he's no longer really airbrushing. So he's tattooing a piece on a guy's arm that me and him are talking about, which was weird because I don't really know too much about the Greek mythology thing. I'm like, hey, you know, I shot him the ideal and he ran with it. He had all these ideals. He was like, hey, let's do Caesar and all this and that. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know anything about Caesar. I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it G real with you. I like how the stuff looks. I don't really know about what's going on. So he's finally airbrushing it. I get to see a little taste of it. I think he sends me a little snippet. And whenever you get a text from somebody who's been avoiding you, that feeling is always great. It's like, oh yeah, we're back on, right? Corey's a person, he likes to do things on his own time, when he wants to do it, how he wants to do it. I've somewhat figured him out. I told him to his face, I was like, bro, you need a secretary and you need somewhere where you can just work in the back and not deal with customers. The thing with Corey is again, he's money driven. As long as there's money involved, he'll show up. My trunk is already paid off. I'm telling him, if you finish off my trunk, I'm gonna give you an extra $500 plus my son's trunk so we can get started on that. So in his mind, he's thinking, hey, I'm gonna get that bread and get some more bread coming in. He finally finishes my trunk because he's thinking, hey, I'm gonna get this extra $5, I'm gonna get this trunk, right? Toss him the $5, and I just basically came up with all kinds of excuses as to why I couldn't get my son's trunk off. And I pretty much just ended it there. You know, he texted me a couple other times, I just didn't send a response. It's not that I don't love you, bro, it's just like I can't be associated with that. I can't keep moving with people like that around in the circle. So I finished off my ties, and that's pretty much it. Something I didn't add in, and I was gonna actually bring it, is I do have the trunk. I actually have the trunk right now. This ends up being around the time frame that we find out we lost Kobe, his daughter, and everybody else, all those other innocent souls within that helicopter crash. So now we're starting to work on the trunk, trying to start working on, how the hydraulics is going to sit in the car and how the trunk is going to look. We're finalizing the strokes and cleaning up the housing and so forth within the trunk area. Now, while all this is going on, keep in mind my car is down. I don't have a frame. I'm waiting on a frame. They're kind of just doing knick-knack metal work and cleaning up stuff. My mind is racing. I'm not liking the color that I went with. Y'all are probably going to trip out because a lot of the stuff that I tell y'all may or may not change. Let's just say that. While all this is going on, I'm thinking to myself, I don't like this color. I can't figure out the interior color, the top color. It's playing too many games, and I need it to be right. So I changed the color again, y'all. Remember in, I think, episode 2 or episode 1, I was like, remember, I'm going to drop this silver car here, this silver Bel Air here, and I'm going to just leave it. Now we're back on it. And I keep looking at this car and I'm like, man, that silver is just so clean. I know it has been done already, but you can't go wrong with silver or black. That's like easy colors to put on a car where everybody's going to love it. I'm really on silver. I'm like, you know what, man, I got to change the color. Let's go with it. I'm doing my research. I even got the color code, ordered up some paint. And now the new color moving forward is going to be silver.
Damn, Daniel.
My son actually ended up selling that car. And it sucks to say this because he really hasn't messed with lowriding since that car, because that car ended up having so many problems. I felt really betrayed on the person that I bought that car from, because this person is on like a personal page of mine where he gets to see my family and my daughter and, you know what I mean, all kinds of stuff. So I'm feeling like me and him is cool. You will let me know all the problems that's wrong with this car, that way I can address them and we can be out in the streets. What was sold to me was completely the opposite of what we got. The car looked beautiful. Everybody loved the car, but man, deep down inside, that car had so many problems to where my son sold that car because he had already sold his other one. So this was like his car to finally get out in the streets, to get his feet wet, his switches, and, you know, man, probably could have been somebody, right? So what was told to me just was the complete opposite. It was supposed to be a clean title, ended up being salvaged. Undercarriage was about to fall apart because of the salt from the snow out in that area. Just stuff that wasn't addressed to me, that I asked if it was going to be legit, and it just wasn't. The car barely ran. It stayed at the mechanic, and it just pretty much just took all the taste out of my son's mouth to where he just didn't want to mess with it no more. He was so eager to. He wanted to be in it so bad, but, you know, y'all want to know what it's like in this game, man. I'm going to let y'all know everything that happened in the filming of this. So now my car is on the rotisserie. Again, now they're cleaning up everything underneath the bottom. Everything about this car is going to be touched. So they're cleaning up all the lines on the rotisserie. They're getting everything, crisp as far as the welding. At the same time frame, my first batch of chrome is taken off the car, given to me, taking it to a chromer. And, want to go ahead and, I want to be on top of things. I want all my chrome to be back, I want my trunk to be back, everything to come back together. Now, a new step for me, I kind of seen it. I don't know anybody who's actually dealt with it or been around anybody else who's actually done it. This is a new step that was done to me. My builder was like, okay, we're going to powder coat everything major as far as the body. I'm like, okay, I guess, right? You know what I mean? New step for me. He said, basically what this does is it's going to protect your metal. It's not going to rust again. Everything's going to be protected. So it's like a big blanket basically over it. And then he said they'll do their body work and everything over it. New step for me, but hey, let me know what y'all think. So they get the car back, they start doing the body work, getting all the body nice and straight. This is the part that, I'm like, I can't wait. Like, we're just a step away from paint now at this point. So, they're working on it, getting everything prepped, getting everything in line, still on the rotisserie. So right about now, I'm at Promoter Swap Meet. I picked up Rare Uno. I know nothing about this car. It's just something about this car. It's just, I'm loving it. And I'm like, I gotta have it. For some reason, I got kind of deep into my Fleetwood. Like, I'm finding little knick-knack stuff, Nardi steering wheel, Castle Grill. I'm hooking it up. And I'm actually wanting to go to the next step, because I know that one day the gates is gonna be open again. We're gonna be back outside showing and doing everything. So I'm trying to get ready for it. I'm contacting my builder like, hey, can you chop the top of my Cadillac and make it into a 2-door convertible? He's like, yeah, I can do that. I can do whatever it is you wanna have done. And I'm like, man, that would be dope. I'm like, okay, let's plan that for next. So about this time, I'm stockpiling premium sport weight 520s. Anytime somebody's posting them up on Cali Broker or whatnot, I'm like, hey, what's up? Let me get them tires, right? So about this time, I'm checking in with my builder. I'm like, hey man, what's up with that frame, right? What's up with that frame? We're it's been a couple months. What's up with it? Still nothing. About this time, there's a build up north that I was keeping an eye on. I actually haven't seen it in a while, and a friend of his had posted a picture like it's almost done, it's about to be back. And when they posted it, my heart dropped because the person who posted it reversed the picture and made it look like it was right-hand drive. And man, I must have sent it to my builder like, man, see, this is how come my car needs to be done. We need to hurry up because everybody else is about to be on some stuff. But it ended up being that the picture was reversed. The same time I caught it was right after I sent the text to my builder, and he was like, the picture's reversed. But man, I was like, oh my gosh, my heart was just pounding. So because of the car still being built, I'm like, you know what, man, maybe silver's not the color. My builder, it felt like every other day he sent me a message like, bro, don't go silver, it's already been done. But I'm like really in it. I'm like, man, I love how silver looks with that gray cloth top. And then it's so easy to do the interior. Like I'm really on it. But he eventually talked me out of it, and he was like, nah, man, you gotta actually put a color on this thing. So I got to thinking, and I found me another color. Maybach has a very beautiful color. My man, I need this color too. Because my color that I originally went with, I can't find something to match it. Everything just looks off. And then the people who I do notice have that color, they always put gold. I'm not a hater of gold. I know I probably sound like it to y'all. I just feel too many people are doing it to want to be like, oh, let me go do it. So every time I see it, it always has gold. One thing I'm not doing on this car is that I'm not putting gold, no engraving, no pinstripes. Like, it's out the window. I can't do it. Not that I don't like it. Now I just feel like it's starting to get a little gaudy because everybody's doing it, and they're not just doing it, it's like over the top. I don't like the colors that other people are using as far as like a top versus interior. Some people was doing maroon, some people was doing like a darker shade of pink. It just looked funny, so I couldn't do it. So I just X'd off that old color. So now the car is, inside as far as on a rotisserie, just the body. More bodywork to the body is being done. It's actually getting finalized and cleaned up. Got the car upside down. Now they're working underneath the car, getting underneath it nice and pristine, looking good. My mind is still racing. One thing about me is I have so many just craziness and just crazy thoughts in my head to where I'm like, man, I gotta get it off. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm assuming it's going to be the same for every other builder at that time frame or any other person building a car because. Let's face it, you're paying for it, so you're like, hey, I want it how I want it. And things change, just like my motor, for instance. When I got that, nobody was really on it at that time as far as lowriding. By the time you're seeing this video, and again, I'm talking current, videos is old, everybody else was starting to get one. And I'm like, dang, so now I need to do something to stay ahead of them. So I hit up my body guy, and I'm like, hey, can we put twin turbo on top of the supercharger? And he was like, shoot, we can do it. What size turbos you want to go with? So he's pretty much just going with whatever I tell him, right? Got to thinking on it. I was like, yeah, nah, it's just going to be doing too much because now at this point, I'm just not even going to be able to drive the car. The plans is to actually be able to drive it. So I'm like, nah, let's just not do that. So now at this point, keeping it real, it's been quite some time. And I'm like, you know what? Hit up my body guy. Let's cancel the frame. Bro, it's been some good months. Like, I don't want to keep waiting. Like, I'm trying to job y'all. Like, let's just go and keep it real. I'm trying to be outside. So I'm like, man, let's just cancel the frame. And my builder's like, hey, man, I texted them. They said it's almost there. It's almost there. And I was in serious talks. I was like, you know what? Let's just go back to the old frame and do it the right way. And he's like, hey, if we do that, now we're going to kind of be going extra backwards. It's going to take even more time to start working on that one and get it right. So I stayed with the Art Morrison style frame. So about now, I'm taking my chrome over to this chrome shop. I'm looking on Instagram. I'm willing to try new people because, I'm like, hey, if you're running a business, let me try to show support. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be outside with the people and be like, hey, I see you do this. What's up with it? Even art people and everything else. I hit y'all up and I try to support. So I never dealt with this chrome shop before. I'm always seeing them online. They're advertising wet chrome, right? And that's what I'm looking for. I want wet chrome. I'm trying to get it done. trying to get it knocked out, build a rapport. Let's go. Now, keep in mind, the person that I'm about to go through, they're a club brother of mine through another chapter. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm really going to show support. So I take it to a chrome shop that I highly regret. So the person that I took it to at this shop, AP, he said, give it a couple months, give it a couple weeks, whatever he told me at the time. Whatever it wasn't long. He said he'll get in contact with me. I knew something was going to be a little crazy because he was supposed to send me a receipt, and it took forever to get the receipt. I was like, man, I mean, it's not that hard. You get money, you send a receipt, right? So I'm checking in on the chromer. It's been quite some time, right? I'm checking in periodically. I always get the response back, hey, you know, I'll message you in a little bit to let you know about a good ETA, or I'll get back with you fairly short, within a week. I keep going with that, and finally I keep realizing every time I hit you up, you tell me the same thing, and you never get back to me. So I messaged him. I was like, bro, let's just call it quits. I'm going to pick my stuff up, get my deposit, and I'm out. Like, I just cut ties with you. That's it. No craziness, no drama.
Fast-breaking developments in the coronavirus emergency in the U.S. and around the world. The number of cases soaring just today. More than 24,000 now nationwide.
This is around the same time frame COVID is in like full swing now, right? Freeways is wide open. You can get from LA to Palm Springs in like an hour, right? You know what I mean? Like just 45 minutes if you're on the gas. So this guy who's typically always on their story posting that they're polishing chrome, they're putting stuff out on display. After I tell him that I'm about to come tomorrow, he mysteriously catches COVID and is in the hospital. That's fine. He says his son or whoever is going to be there to help me out whenever I get there as far as getting the stuff. I pull up. Hey, I'm such and such. I'm here to pick up all this stuff. All of his people brought it out. We sorted it all out. I loaded it up in my car. I go inside. I'm like, okay, well, now we got to figure out this deposit because you didn't touch nothing. All the stuff that was supposed to have been sent off didn't even have a sandpaper mark on it. So I'm like, okay. So I'm getting metal and everything back, getting all my stuff back. There's some miscellaneous pieces in there that are not mine. It was like a 59 Impala rag, some pieces in there, some 58 pieces. And I'm thinking to myself, let me not, thinking out for another customer, like, let me not take their stuff because if you really built these cars, you know that a lot of this stuff is very hard to find. I go inside, I'm talking to the dad on the phone. And again, because supposedly he's got COVID, but he's able to chop it up on the phone just fine. I'm like, okay, well, we need to get square on this. My son had his Cadillac, and he needed a chrome rear end. Right there on the glass table, there was a chrome rear end. I'm like, okay, can we maybe work something out on the rear end? I pay the difference, you pay me, whoever side it's going to be on, and we go with that. He's like, my friend, I'll take care of you. Give you 3 months, 4 months, I'll get you a rear end. Me and my son looking at each other like, as long as it took for you to do nothing with this chrome here, yeah, we're not gonna go that route. We need to do something else. So he's like, okay, well, there's pretty much no money to give back. We're gonna have to work something out. I'm not trying to take a trip all the way out to the OC. So I'm like, my man Glock 9 had a metal framing picture from, I think, a paint company up on the wall. And I've always admired this picture, right? Even seeing it with Glock 9. And I was like, what's up with that picture? This billet steering wheel in this glass case, some little miscellaneous stuff. He was like, okay, that's cool. We can't do the steering wheel. Now thinking back, I should have demanded that steering wheel. And he was like, maybe I'll throw in like a pair of upper and lower chrome A-arms. I'm like, cool, boom. I'll just put those up for sale and make some money back. For those of you who've ever tried to sell chrome suspension stuff online, it's not really the easiest thing at times. People question so much stuff. Finally, I did sell them. I think I gave him a $1,000 deposit. I might have made $500-600 out of it. So we're still in the hole somewhere. By the way, those A-arms was somebody's. Thinking back now, looking at these pictures, because they had names on them. So if y'all didn't get it, your upper and lower chrome A-arms, it's because he gave them to me. Even snapped a little quick picture of his people taking it off the wall for me. So the next day, I took it to a real chromer. I cannot say this chromer's name because there's a lot of big time people who use this guy, and they'll probably be mad if their stuff gets pushed back because I said this shop's name. But took it to a real chromer. I know who he is, man. Very cool, humble guy.
I'm sorry. I want to thank my nephew for hooking me up, plugging me up with the cars. You understand me? We're going to be doing a whole lot of business. You better know it. If you need a hot car,
Is this you?
and tell him Snoop Dogg sent you.
Cali broker, baby.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Oh, that you? Yeah, that's me, dog. Yo, you got your page something.
Oh, Oh, my bad. So look, about this time frame, I wake up to phone calls and texts from Snoop, man. Like one of the highlights of my life, man. That's when Caliboy took off. I was on cloud 7. Get it? Cloud 7. Okay, that might have been corny. Around the same time frame, I'm finally getting my frame. It's been some months, y'all. It's been what, almost a year? And I'm just getting this frame back. So that means, man, now my car can start moving forward again. So now they're starting to work on the frame. A little bit of time had passed by. They're starting to work on the frame. You know, any wheels that's on there, they're grinding them down. They're smoothing out the frame like what I wanted to do with the original frame. My new frame has a C notch. The thing about it is it was just a frame. Everything else is pretty much handmade. So my guy, he built the control arms, the upper and lower A arms and so forth. It's all handmade. So I'm hyped. I'm like, yeah, it's coming. Like here, man, you know, you start seeing pictures of getting parts back. It's always a lovely thing, right? No, it got shut down again.
Shutting the studio down.
I have no suspension. So they at least put the body onto the frame to make sure that married correctly, make sure everything fit there. But we can't go forward because I don't have, you know, a rear end yet, no front end, all my suspension. Is a lot of the stuff for the conversion for the right-hand drive, it just has not even arrived yet because COVID, everything is backed up. That was the worst time to build a car. I found another color. Yeah, y'all, I found another color. This is about the same time frame that I'm like, okay, my car is taking too long. I almost bought this right-hand drive 59 El Camino. The patterns and the paint, that would have all been changed. I don't know. I'm just trying to get anything so I can get on the road. Like, I only wanted a year out of the game. I didn't want almost 5. So I'm just looking for anything that can help me to get somewhere faster. Because at this point, I've sold my Cadillac. My son has sold his. So I have nothing. COVID is at an all-time high. Donald Trump is on the news making all kinds of crazy headlines, and this is when he spoke up for the lowrider community.
Why do you keep using this? A lot
Because
of
it
people
comes
say
from
it's
China.
racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be
So I get my
accurate.
chrome back. It's like a month. Everything's back pristine, very nice. Like, it took the other place XYZ amount of months and didn't even touch it. Over here, I get it within a month. So I'm happy. This is about the same time frame that I had got my SS clone that I call Black Cub. And I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty much posting up that, hey, you know, for one thing, I know a lot of y'all message me and they're like, can you recommend something for me? And I always tell everybody, I do not recommend, because these shops, they can do something good for me, do something horrible for you. They can do me horrible, do you good. It's always something, so I never recommend. I put up a post that I was like, yo, man, you know, y'all be careful with these shops out here. You might take it over here, and this is what could happen if you go in this area. So I said OC, I didn't say a name. So the person that I was talking about just felt some type of way and started typing I love you with hearts on all my posts on Mr. Calibroker. Got to the point where I pretty much just had to block him because he went on like a 24-hour spree just calling out my name, just saying Mr. Calibroker like he was outside with 2 pieces of glass yelling, bad boy. Bad boy. So at this point, he's just messaging me nonstop. So I pretty much had to block him on all social medias because he was just texting and DM and I love you. Okay, guy. Around the time frame, some of y'all might have been messing with me. I don't know. He was telling the story that I went in there with bats and was threatening and doing all kinds of stuff to get my money back.
Hey.
Should have kept your word.
AP.
Jesus Christ, man! What the fuck are you doing?
Now, some of y'all might have been like, well, how come you didn't say nothing? How come we didn't stop him? I'm going to keep it real. His story sounded better than mine. So you got me sounding like Suge Knight outside in the streets. So, okay, let's just run with your story. There's no real issue, just you did me dirty, and like I said, I gotta let it be known if it happened on within my build. But Strange guy, man. This is around the same time frame that the Red Cat RC cars had just came out. I had like the first batch where I did a review on it on YouTube. So right about now, I'm selling Black Cuh. I don't know. I like to try different things. It was a cool lane. I love that truck. That truck was hard. I always wanted something on billets like that. But that scene, they spend so much money on those trucks and nobody wants to pay you the proper amount. So I had to get out of there quick. As soon as I found out nobody was trying to pay, I had to dip. Kid got me out here. This war shit. Look. So right about now, I'm going through marriage problems. You know, I'm listening to her concerns. Hopefully she's listening to my concerns. You know, I'm trying to make things better. We're out and about. You know, we're trying to have fun. My rear end is starting to get worked on as far as the reinforcing. I got a Curry rear end, and the rear end is starting to get done. I'm taking more chrome over to my chrome guy, getting it all lined up, getting it all ready for my second batch. This is about the same time frame now that I just purchased my third diesel truck. This is about the same time frame that I purchased, because I sold my silver dually because I just could not stand how it drove and what it did. So I went and I got me a newer Ford. I'm lifting the truck up. I'm doing it exactly how I want to, do it. My son grabs the truck too. So at this time, we're kind of like playing, Batman and Batman, right? So when I had my Audi, he had a Audi wagon he tricked out. When I had my Lolo, he got his Lolo. We kind of doing the Batman and Batman thing, right? So he's wanting to get a diesel truck. He got him a Ford. We're getting ready to start working on that. So another thing that I want to reveal for this episode, I don't have a name for the car. My mind's just been racing. I have a bunch of names written down. One thing about me that I'm starting to go with, y'all, is lately I've been going with what hits me. It'll come and I'll be like, that's it. This car, I've been through so many ups and downs. That's how I'm kind of showing it to y'all in this format because, and everybody else does too. I'm not saying it's just me, but I've been through a lot with this car and I still don't have the car. I know people keep asking this question. I mess with every style culture. And one thing that I've been saying to myself is that I want a little bit of everything incorporated in this car. The right-hand drive is for my love of imports. The motors is for the big car stuff. That's what all those guys are doing. I listen to a lot of Texas rap. Slim Thug just dropped an album. It's a dope album. It's definitely dope. I've been messing with Thug, man, for a while. I used to have an email that said Dirty South Boss, y'all. This is when I lived in the South. But his last album that he just dropped is called Midlife Crisis. Because I've been through it with this car. I know a lot of people go through stuff. I just felt like I've gone through the most. This is how come I filmed it in this format to where I kind of show you everything that happened in between because it would help out with the name of the car because I've been through it. It's called Midlife Crisis because I've been through it with this car. I've been through it with this car. That's why I was saying in episode 1, man, it's stress. It's so much stuff. And it's like people laugh whenever people tell you the price of their car at the end. And people laugh. It's like, man, you don't understand all the stuff that I've been through. Just emotional roller coaster, just up and down. That's what I'm going to call it. Slim Thug, that album, man, I'm like real. When I saw the name of that album, I was like, okay. Like, for some reason, I kind of just looked at the cover for a little bit. Now I listened to the album, especially the intro. And I was like, you know what? This is it. I've been through everything with this car. This car literally is my midlife crisis. Realizing that this is the soundtrack to my life. The ironic part about my recording right now is this is actually my third take of this ending. The first one didn't record. The second one I recorded, can't find it. Now I'm recording this ending again for the third time. I almost find it weird again because I'm a firm believer that everything happens for reasons. Kind of thinking that what I was saying something is blocking it to make sure that it doesn't come out. So I'm not going to say everything. I think I know what it is, and it's weird. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's very weird, but I'm not going to say everything that I was originally saying. But what I will say is, this car, it means a lot. It's definitely hitting a little different now. I'm starting to think that everything that has happened and this car taking this long was supposed to happen. Everything happens for reasons. If the car was done quicker, I wouldn't have had a name for it. Obviously, Thug's album just came out, so that wouldn't have happened. I probably wouldn't have had this. Everything that I've been going through is part of this car's story. The actual true definition of midlife crisis. Man, now I can't wait to do the trunk. So that's another thing from when I was editing too. I didn't say, but I do still have the trunk, and I'm not using it. It's just gonna be wall art, I guess, at this point, because I did change the color. But yeah, I was saying some deep stuff on the last 2 recordings, and it didn't record, and I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it at that as far as not mentioning what it was saying. I will say that I am burnt out on the game. Cars just don't excite me no more like they used to. No matter how hard I try, no matter what I go and get, it's just not there anymore. I don't know. I need to find a new lane, and that's why I've been kind of playing with stuff, trying to find a new me, reinvent myself. I still love the cars for y'all, still cover and do all that good stuff. It's just for myself, it's just not there anymore. Man, I mean, when I started out with model cars, Hot Wheels, any type of a car magazine, you know what I mean? Go-karts, real cars. I've been through it all. Like, this car stuff has really been my life. And I think I find myself being frustrated at times because I'm like, to myself, I feel like I'm the best kept secret. People do find out about me, they ask for my help or whatnot, but they never want to say my name to anybody else. It's like they want to keep me their secret. It's like, okay, well, I got him over here, I'm going to use him when I need him. And it's like I find myself trying to get bigger and bigger, but to myself, I feel like I keep tapping out, or there's some type of a roadblock or obstacle that keeps getting in my way. It's just weird that everybody else gets to shine, and I've been trying to, get mine, and there's always something that blocks me. But that's another whole story. I don't want to get too deep on y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Episode 5. I changed the color again, y'all, and this one is final. Okay, yes, I changed it again. But yeah, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. Man, please, if y'all like what I'm doing, man, I need for y'all to support. And yeah, on to the next one.